I am educated, I'm independent, I'm completely in control of any situation of myself. Anything that happens for the first time really becomes a challenge, maybe a positive one. No matter how cliched it may sound, but 90% of your work is done if you plan really well. So I live the ads, I watch almost all the ads, I understand the advertisements, and a lot of times my relatives or my family will ask me, so what was the message? I mean, you can't really choose this profession. You have to be born to kind of be in this profession. Don't follow the trends and please create your own trend.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Miss Ritika Chandhok. She is currently Head Corporate Communication and Digital Marketing at KONE Elevators India. She is a planner and strategist with proven skills in managing and handling administrative and operational controls in corporate communication and brand, image building through synergic set of communications activities. Her expertise lies in corporate positioning, press relations, strategic storytelling, strong digital marketing strategy, and internal and external communications. Adroit in organizing, interpreting, and communicating market information to facilitate the decision-making process of top management. It's a pleasure to welcome Ms. Ritika to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, Ritika.
Hi Gaurav, thank you so much for having me here on your show, and it's a real pleasure to be able to talk to you today.
Thank you very much for your time and it's my pleasure. So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that you would like to share on us.
Childhood, as I remember, was mostly happy. Born and raised in Delhi, my childhood memories are full of very simple things like in those days. So even the exams getting over, or summer vacations, or bunking classes to visiting relatives, and playing outdoors till we were being shouted upon. So all are very, very happy memories. In fact, so I have had a relatively happy childhood. In fact, any childhood memory, we experience so many events during our childhood, but as adults, we only recall a handful of them. So I think most significant events that I remember are the first moving of the first house, or probably the exams, or the results, or the birthdays. In fact, if you ask me, our childhood was so different than the children today because mobile phones and internet and social media were not even heard of. So the whole family during the whole week waited for that one movie every Sunday. I hope you recall. And looking up a word was such a task. We didn't have the Google, so we had to kind of learn to use the dictionary and the world map and writing checks. So unlike today when we have everything at our fingertips. But I'm really glad that we belong to that generation and we've experienced this huge transition.
So what about your educational background, schooling and higher education?
All through in Delhi. I was a commerce student, did my graduation in commerce from Delhi University, and post-graduation in public relations, advertising, and the most recent, the one certificate program in digital marketing from MICA. But while talking about the school and education, I really believe how a person is brought up, apart from the education part, how a person has been brought up is, it plays a huge role in what she or he is going to become. For example, normally in India, not today, but during those days, while the boys were taught to be very tough and brave and take risks, girls on the other hand were taught to be very proper and perfect. But my family, and I think this is the reason I can take risks, always inspired me to myself, encouraged me to take brave steps, try out things, be courageous. And if anything didn't work out for us, we were never judged. So I think that really sets up that bold and thick foundation for kids.
So were you an introvert or extrovert child?
A mix of both. So I mostly extrovert. I talked a lot. I mean, I still talk a lot. So I have to be timed to be, kind of quiet. And I sometimes talk so much that I, in fact, forget the original context on which I was talking about. So I think extrovert, yeah.
So what was your dream profession as a child?
Oh, so I had so many dream professions as a child and they changed like every year. So a few top of mind would be like when I was 4-5 years old. And maybe because my mom was a teacher, I wanted to be a teacher so that I can, just looking at her, I can also make corrections in the notebook with a red pen, give marks and everything. And later I wanted to become an air hostess, then a doctor. And so there was a time when I wanted to have my own food van. This was probably the college time. Later I wanted to be an artist. So on and on. So it changed every time.
So how did you drop in corporate communication then? Your wish
Corporate
list doesn't
communication.
say that.
Yeah, I never. But then I used to read a lot. So I think my flair for writing comes from the flair of reading. And I still remember when I was in 8th standard or something, there was this essay writing competition, and I was very tomboyish, and I was more into sports and less into studies. So my name was announced, and the English teacher came and she said that, okay, who's Ritika? And she actually read my essay. And for a moment I thought she's going to make fun of me, so because that was my reputation for myself. So but she said that she has written so well, such new things and such upcoming topics. And I remember those days we had this cable TV which had just came in. So I talked about that, so how it's going to affect the population. And because I was hearing and I was reading and a lot of things. So then I realized that I have something in me, so I think I should try here. So that was going on back of my mind, but then still there were so many glamorous things that used to kind of, gravitate me towards being whatever.
So what about your college memory? Any particular notorious college memory that you would like to share?
I think we made a note of minimum attendance you require to get passed. And basis that, we backward calculated how many bunks can we make, during a week. So, and those were very religiously followed. So we used to bunk classes, always eat before the recess so that, we can hide other people's things. And we used to hide ourselves to avoid classes and other, periods and everything. And even at the cost of being punished or whatever. But I think now I really enjoy those memories, because the kids today, they are kind of missing out on the fun, because the security from the parents and the school is so airtight that there is no question. I mean, they are amazed when we tell them that we used to bunk classes, or probably we used to hide things and other people's things, not the things to be told. So this is very amazing for them. So because security those days was like, okay, I mean, you could it was not very very foolproof. So these are things that we really enjoyed.
So what about your hobbies and interests?
A lot of hobbies, a lot of interest. In fact, whenever I get time, I love binge watching shows. So I can't just stay on one episode and I have to finish the entire series. I love to travel. Sports, mostly running, like competitive, long distance and marathons, and because of which I have to also do a lot of strength and conditioning exercises. Music, I love listening. I don't sing. And I'm a voracious reader. As I told you earlier, I love reading a lot of books and articles, which is now mostly online. In fact, my passion for writing gets its flair from my passion for reading. So reading is something that I don't stop, but it's almost online. So I've left the books and everything, though I have a collection, but it's still mostly online.
So where did you started your career journey from?
So you must be aware that I have about 2 decades of experience in corp-com, PR, content, digital marketing, and they have kind of spanned over different verticals of the industry. So I started, in fact, after completing my advertising and public relations, I started my career as a counselor with aptech computer education. And while I was there, I was approached by a consultant for the position of e-learning officer at Bharti Cellular Limited. That's a flagship Airtel, the mobility business of Bharti Enterprises. So the position was in human resources, and I was more of a brand and communications person. So I thought, why human resources, why for me? But then, Airtel was so big, and it was like that time growing by leaps and bounds. So there was no chance of at least missing this shot. So I went through the interview process and found out that, it was actually marketing kind of profile within HR, where, I was going to be responsible for promoting the computer-based learning programs for employees. So it was kind of a full marketing that I had to exercise there, and, manage the entire learning center that they had. It was very interesting, in fact, because these learning programs, they were really ahead of their time. So now the organizations are doing so many things for the learning and development, but it was quite unheard of at that time. So these CBTs, the computer-based learning programs, they were really curated, customized for each and every role in Airtel, each and every profile for sales, for finance, for everything. And this was in collaboration with British Telecom because they were the partners. And so I joined them and there was no looking back. I ended up working for Airtel for about 7 years, trained in almost all functions of HR and managed corporate communications during the last 3 years of my being there. And then I moved to Aegis, which is now StarTech, and at that time it was a new BPO arm of SR Enterprises. And after that I joined Exhibition India Group, managing communication, PR, media for the group and their exhibitions, which would take place, every 2 to 3 months. So that was quite a roller coaster ride. And then finally, about 3 years ago, I joined KONE Elevators, and I'm here heading the corporate and brand communications and digital marketing for India. Gaurav, I must say, every day spent at KONE is a learning. Not that I'm working here, I'm saying it, but great place to work, very transparent culture, and everyone is given equal responsibility and opportunity to learn, grow. In fact, in the last 3 years, I have seen myself transform, as a professional and a person in not just one way. I think it's more than one way, so that's how KONE is.
So what all challenges did you face while starting your career journey, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Challenges those days were really common, for all of us. In fact, the most of us. At least I can say it for my friends and the people I knew. First of all, we didn't have internet or Google to guide us, and the career choices were all very, very limited. So the kind of career choices, the options which are available today for the kids are like endless. It's something that you don't hear very often. And it's amazing to see that, the kids these days, they exactly know what they want to take up later. And they work in a very focused manner towards that, to achieve that. So they're very, very clear, they're very solid, right from the beginning. And we used to get our career suggestions from our relatives or from the seniors from school that, and very, very safe career choices. So I think, in fact, there were times when many of us would take up some courses only to realize halfway that, oh, what am I doing? And then, change it, join something else. So those were the challenges we used to face that time.
So what about your mentor? Who is your mentor in professional life?
Again, there are many. In fact, my definition of mentor is a little different from what the dictionary says. My personal belief is that a mentor is not someone you admire from afar, that okay, this person is good, I'll behave like her or him. They're actually the people who you are working with and you can learn, can be your colleagues, can be your seniors or your managers. And for me, in fact, all my bosses have been my mentors. And there's a logic also, because so that the profile of corporate communications mostly, in fact, always reports to the top boss of the organization, which happens to be the primary decision maker in managing the overall strategy. So what else can we ask for? I mean, we get to be mentored by the best and the finest.
So what aspect of your job do you like the most?
Each and every aspect of it is fascinating, seriously. The one that I use most is, whenever I talk to people, they ask me, is that no 2 days are ever the same. I don't do the same thing like yesterday, I'll do it today, because I'm not that, I don't know what I'm going to work on or, how I'm going to work on. Maybe the same thing, but I'll probably work differently because the landscape of communications or the digital landscape, changes every day. So every day you get to know so many new things. And it doesn't matter how much you know. There's always something new you will learn with each campaign or each project from seniors, juniors, newcomers, agencies. And another plus of working in brand communication that it's profoundly human field. So whatever you're working in communications, you're working for PR or branding, or you're just a social media person, you will still have to get into the habit of empathizing with your customers. So that's really important for brand loyalty, and you have to kind of make your campaign a success. So you can't just give what you want to give. You have to give what they want, the customers or the masses want. So that's very interesting. In fact, most of our work, corporate communication, based on getting inside the head of our target audience. So in a nutshell, you get to make money doing the things you love the most, writing, innovating, keeping up with the newest stuff. And this profile is actually a profile which has no ground rules, and there's immense scope of innovation, innovative ideas, strategies, thinking really out of the box, anything weird. So you can just try your hands on, as long as all this is aligned with the business objectives.
So, what do you think? Is corporate communication a cakewalk?
It is not. It is not. We all think it's a cakewalk, that just writing and just posting or making press releases, talking to media. But I think the most difficult part, I mean, it gets easy while kind of you experience it, you do it like every day. But it has to be really from a reader's or the consumer's perspective. Because you just can't write because you want to write. Maybe I want to write about politics. I don't want to write about this, or I don't want to write about that. But that's not what the reader is expecting from me. So that is the most difficult part, and aligning the overall strategy of the organization with your message, and to make sure that message gets across in the same way that you are intending to be, then it meets all three criteria. So that's not a cakewalk actually. It's quite difficult.
So, if you were able to get hold of time machine, which phase of your life would you like to roll back?
I think I like the current phase the most. In fact, you know what, Gaurav? All my life, I've heard people saying that childhood is the best phase and they would probably even kill to go back to being a child. Some say the college life or anything, but I actually love myself now. I think I'm better than what I was yesterday. I'm aware, I'm educated, I'm independent, I'm completely in control of any situation of myself, and I'm completely free to take my own decisions. I believe now with experience, I can now embrace my individuality and choose my relationships, my actions accordingly. So I think this is the best phase of my life.
So, what are positive and negative parts as far as corporate is concerned?
I think for everyone out there who is looking forward to joining corporate world, I really want to tell you that there's nothing negative at all. So I know there are a lot of memes and there are a lot of jokes, but contrary to them, in fact, I come across a lot of things that says that there's no personal life left, health is gone, the whole world crashes or something. But it really depends for me that what is your perspective. So it really depends on the perspective of a person, how they see things. And it's really the choice, even in a corporate world, or if you have your own setup or a startup, it's really your choice how you want to perceive your career. So corporate life is seriously not as tough as it's made out to be. There are all positives. I'll not say some positives, they're all positives. First and foremost, I mean, you're employed, come on, and you get to earn money. You're building a career, and because if you're ambitious, you'll definitely build a career wherever you're working. You will become a more responsible and confident person. You will value your time, you will value your weekends more, because you probably, when you're free, you're not valuing them so much. But now you know that after 5 days of hard work or whatever days of hard work, you'll get the weekend. So they're really valuable. You will get to network with the people of different backgrounds and different culture, and learn from them, maybe share your experiences with them. So, and it happens on a daily basis. You usually get to work in a team and not alone. And there are a lot of opportunities. I think these days, I mean, there's no dearth of opportunities for personal achievement and professional achievement within the organization, because there are a lot of training courses, there are a lot of education at work which happens. So like my MICA was education at work kind of a thing, so which is very, very comfortable, which is very advancing for people. In fact, for some, this all may sound like a con, but all, as I said, it's literally your perspective. And if you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
So, what was the most challenging phase of your professional journey?
Anything that happens for the first time really becomes a challenge, maybe a positive one. So, the first job, or probably the first project, a new campaign, or probably anything which is happening for the first time, or probably when you get to work with a team, or probably your team changes after every 6 months, if in case you're working for a new project then. So I think all this is kind of a challenge, but challenges are a part of life. So I think with time, as you kind of spend more time in organization, I think we all choose to deal with it and we all really enjoy it.
So what was your first campaign you have worked on?
So the first campaign, as I recall, the major campaign that was a little difficult, but yes, there were good results in the end, was during Airtel. So Airtel, as I mentioned to you, I was hired for this pull marketing to sell off the courses and sell off in the sense that, it was more of a mindset because people were so busy. They have their own jobs, they have their own targets, and they have no time to come and study in the learning center or go through the courses and get certified. But these were important. So what we did was in fact, after I joined, so one, there was no internal marketing happening. So there was this customer marketing and customer communication, everything was there, but nothing internal. So I drafted a few very fun emailers and the facts and nuggets of information. We only used to have the email marketing then, and we used to have those scrollers that run through your computer screen, but then that's also only for emergency if you have to evacuate the office or something. So only the town halls, emailers were the only medium to talk to people, or you go and meet them face to face. I did all of that. And finally, I think we started getting a good turnout in the learning center, and there were a lot of people who were taking up the courses. So that was my first campaign. In fact, this responsibility was given by my then mentor, the head of HR. And he was really happy. He was really happy to see this, entire transition, that how we could do it in such a short time. So it was more of a little aggressive marketing. I'll not say it's very aggressive, but little aggressive marketing that we did.
So what are your roles and responsibility as head corporate communication?
So Gaurav, before I go on and describe the roles and responsibilities, you are aware that KONE is a very, very strong and a leading brand in escalators and elevators industry, globally and in India. And this is actually because our brand is our promise to our customers. So, and the role of Corpcom is to create experiences, and each experience helps build trust and loyalty to our brand. And that's how we are the strongest and the leading brand in India. We create brand communication strategies, So it's not just the corporate communication. We talk about our brands and the priorities for the brand. We generate demand and we drive growth, while also ensuring that the brand continues to lead the industry through our communications and our collaborations, our content, and the campaigns that we run digitally or probably on ground, everywhere. So everything is kind of connected. So all our conversations have the key message which is uniform all across. And globally also our content aligns with the image and voice and the vision of the brand. In fact, I don't believe that, this role, our Corpcom role, is kind of limited to just the communication team in KONE India. Our aim to actually enable the entire workforce to create or make that unified and, massive contribution to our business success. So for instance, if 5,000 just for example, 5,000 of our employees share one article on LinkedIn, and each one of them has 1,000 connections, there is an additional reach of 5 million people for our brand. And that's, my vision for corporate communication and digital marketing.
So how has been your journey from assistant manager to head corporate communication till date?
Yes, Gaurav, it's an interesting question. In fact, no matter how cliched it may sound, but 90% of your work is done if you plan really well. And it's important for your professional life, for your personal life, you have to set goals for yourself and align them with some priorities in your life. You can align them with your age bracket. Okay, by this and this age, I should have this or I should be this. And then by just being true to your work and making the right decisions at the right time, you will definitely eventually get there. And so that's what I did. Throughout my career, I have, just learned and grown. And fortunately, I must say that over the years, corporate communications, as a function or as a role has evolved immensely. Like any other industry, but this is one role which is really, evolved over the years. And all the organizations that I have worked with have been continuously giving me opportunities to, grow and become a better version of myself. So that's how my journey from assistant manager to the head of Corpcom.
According to you, what is the future of digital marketing in business?
Right. So Gaurav, I think it's going to be huge. So you tell me what is not digital today, from shopping to payments to ordering food or booking travel, everything is online. We are just online all the time. And we must agree that the online platforms, have made our lives easier. So it saves travel, it saves cost, everything. So in fact, according to Times of India, I was just reading that Indians spend around 4.3 hours every day, on mobile phones. And this COVID has even fast tracked it. So it's made us realize the power and potential of, digital adoption. So I think the digital advertising and marketing market or the sector is going to grow. And I think according to some statistics, it was projected in 2026 to be about 786 point something billion dollars, and which is like huge amount. So everything is and everyone is connecting and communicating online, and this growth trend seems to be going upward for the upcoming years as well. We can't say that, now the pandemic is over, everything will become normal or as it was before the pandemic. It's not. So digital is going to go upwards, and in any case, the future of digital marketing is very promising. And if this is a field that excites you, I think now is the time to join it. So opportunities will keep coming in this domain, and the only thing that every digital marketer has to do is to just keep up with the latest trends and the latest education in this sector. That's it. But it's going to be huge.
So any particular reason to choose communication as your profession?
Okay, Gaurav, so I don't think I chose communication. In fact, it's communications that chose me. So, in fact, I think apart from being a natural in communication, I think you also need to have the right attitude, right aptitude, and appetite for corporate communications, because it's a blend of creativity and business. So you have to be both. You just can't be a creative person and don't understand the business. You have to be highly imaginative and you have to be highly social. So I always had this flair of writing from a reader's perspective. So I always say this. People normally write from their own perspective what they want to write. It helps, but not to an extent. It makes you a better person as a writer, but it doesn't help solve the purpose. Reading helps. So I always believed in and almost lived the stories, I always read. So they kind of took me to the world that the author has created. So in fact, in our field, it's said that the stories are an essential part of human experience. They are a part of how we communicate, how we learn, how we connect with one another. We love to hear other people's story and we love to tell our stories. So this all is a storytelling world. So corporate communication no less. So it's also true in the case of business, because where brands and products and people, they all tell a story to connect with their clients. So that's how this is.
So corporate communication has chosen you. Have you chosen marketing and advertising, or was it by accident?
No, I think all this is connected, and I also believe that I was made to measure for this profession. So always a passion. So I live the ads, I watch almost all the ads, I understand the advertisements, and a lot of times my relatives or my family will ask me, so what was the message? But I know what the message is and how they want to say it. So so I decode the ad. So it's always been there. It's never by accident. In fact, I was very young when I realized, looking at the TV commercials, maybe because there were very less TV we used to watch, that the brand, the product color is the color of the entire ambience or the aesthetics, and the models are also wearing the same color. So I used to watch ads and I understood that. I mean, way before I joined the advertising field or the course or something. I mean, you can't really choose this profession. You have to be born to kind of be in this profession.
So what advice would you like to give to newcomers who have just joined advertising?
Those who have just begun their journey in the field of advertising, first of all, congratulations, because it's a pretty awesome field. It can be pretty overwhelming in the beginning, but this is also the right time where you are right now, when you can take a few actions for a great career ahead. So there are many, so you can keep investing in yourself, through learning, and keep building connections, I must say. You also need to have a positive network of people around you. These days, there are a lot of things to kind of, a lot of tools, a lot of channels like LinkedIn. You can do that. And you can do that more easily than what we could those times. And this positive network around you can, just keep connecting, collaborating with the experts and leaders within your organization or maybe outside your organization who are experienced. And when you are unsure about anything, please go seek their advice. So it's very important. And most importantly, I think continuously gauging the latest trends and the world news will really help get there more easily. It will also help you build connections more easily. Make sure you know your audience. Don't follow the trends and please create your own trend.
So, what all are do's and don'ts you suggest for advertising and marketing people?
For the do's, I really suggest to be authentic and use your own experience. As I said, we want to hear stories. It's all a business of telling stories. So people want you to be authentic, and the audience is quite aware these days. So you can't really just, talk about anything and not the message. They will know. So be authentic, and whatever you have to write or create, it may be however small. Maybe it's just a small caption for a social post, or probably just a subject line for an internal email. Make sure that you have your unique stamp of excellence on everything you do always. So that even if people don't know, they should know that, okay, this is your piece of work. This is done by you. So that uniqueness, that stamp of excellence, please create right from the beginning. And I think all the PR and communication professionals or the marketing people should also have a very solid understanding of, what the journalists or the reporters or the bloggers these days are writing, and what their information they're including and who their sources are. That's very important to know. And because you just cannot too dependent on the agencies, you need to know. You have to be constantly in touch with the journalist and the newsmakers. And being a consumer of the news, because I said that just read, know the news, will bring huge strength to your career in this field. So you can't just ignore that, even if you don't like. And for the don'ts, I think I would really advise you not to focus only on selling. Actually, tell a story that that uses a narrative to communicate your message. So the aim is to make the viewer or the reader to feel something, feel something enough that will inspire them to take action instead of just asking them to take action. So inspire them, don't sell. And don't be too aggressive in terms of ads and how many ads. And consistency, I think, is excellent, but don't overdo it, because nobody would like a brand playing so many ads on digital marketing, or probably on television that pops up everywhere all the time. So nobody would like that. So do it, but not really overdo it.
So now we will start a rapid round.
Okay.
Your favorite actor and actress?
We are a family of very, very true Marvel fans. So I love Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and from the females, I love Elizabeth Olsen and Kareena Kapoor Khan. So I really love her. She is the finest, I think.
Your favorite color?
I like all the colors except brown. I don't know why I hate it, but everything else is fine.
Hard work, smart work, or luck?
In fact, more importantly, hard work and smart work.
Your favorite destination?
Anywhere with a beach.
Success in one line?
Success in one line is a life with zero stress, where you are free to live, laugh, and love.
Your favorite brand?
KONE. Not because I work here, but I think this is the most honest brand I have ever come across.
Things in your wish list?
There are many, and I think and I believe saying makes it less likely to achieve, so not telling.
The dream house?
Is where my family is. Better be on beach.
Second choice of career?
It would be corporate communications and digital marketing.
At last, one line that defines you?
No matter what, get up, dress up, and show up.
Great. So thank you very much for this lovely conversation. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. It was a pleasure being with you and talking to you, and really, really good things that you're doing for the audience out there. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.